Hello, welcome to today's video. You may hear things like build your core and build critical mass, but this is not a workout video. No, this is a way to build your leadership on your team and build that consensus on your team. As a coach, former player, I help athletes to build their leadership skills on the team and in life. So today when we talk about building your core, what does that mean? When I say core, I mean the core members of your team. These are the people that, for whatever reason, seem to naturally follow you. Now, they could be close friends of yours. They may be upperclassmen, underclassmen, people you barely know other than through the sport, but you just seem to have their attention. They seem to buy into your methods of leadership, your style of play, whatever the case may be. There's just that natural connection, and you'll start to be able to read those people. These are the people who really tune into what you're saying, and more importantly, do what you're doing as you try to lead by example. As a coach, I am trying to reach every single member of the team, but I have to realize, and it's taken me some time, that this doesn't quite happen. And for you as a player, with these being amongst your peers, this is really no different. You're not going to reach every single person. Not every player is going to be your friend. Not every single person is going to buy in to your message. So what you can do in the meantime is sort of build that core. As you find the core members of your team that are influenced by your leadership, what it does is it creates a critical mass. There is a point where majority of the team is following and buying into your leadership, to your vision, to your example. You've gained their trust and that you've built your credibility, things we talk about in other videos. Once you have that established trust with that core group, that critical mass happens where, if nothing else, the people who don't necessarily buy into your leadership right away, they're going to fall in line. And the reason they're going to do this is, if for nothing else, everyone else is doing it. Now, this gives you time to hopefully reach them in the long run and for them to accept your leadership and understand what you're trying to accomplish. But it's just simply not always going to be the case that everyone will buy 100% into what you're doing. So of course, you have to build the credibility and the trust, and you try to do that with as many people as you possibly can. Some will be quicker, some will take longer. The ones that take longer, again, this is where the critical mass comes in. This allows you time for them to buy into what you're trying to do, because they're going to fall in line, because this is the established norm. Really, in essence, this is what team culture is. That's a buzzword that gets thrown around a lot, and it's a very important thing, but I think the word actually itself gets thrown around too much. What culture really means for you as a leader, as a captain, an upperclassman on the team, it simply means the norm with which, the standing operating procedure, the way you do things as a team. And as a leader, you want to establish the culture as close to your vision. It won't always be. There are still parts, even as a coach, that I would like to change as part of the team culture that I work in. But not everything can be done on your terms. And you also have to realize that maybe in time you'll find out that some people's other ideas are actually better than yours. This isn't a dictatorship. You want to incorporate other people's ideas and thoughts. And sometimes it is from the people that are part of your core because they agree pretty closely, but they might even be able to tell you something that can help enhance your leadership. But oftentimes, believe it or not, it is the ones who really don't buy in. They're a little more skeptical. They might be the devil's advocate in a way. They might bring something up that you weren't seeing. You don't want to be surrounded on your team or in life with simply yes people. You do want those people who challenge you and who challenge not your leadership in the sense of authority, but challenge your leadership principles. Now, that being said, you cannot cater to these people because, again, some people will just be there to work against you for whatever reason. They don't jive with your personality. You try to reach them, you try to connect to them on some level, but you don't have to cater to them. Be empathetic. If you're empathetic and it still doesn't work, and the relationship and the connection just isn't there, it's something you have to accept as a leader. It's still hard for me to accept that as a coach, but sometimes there are just players that I can't simply reach, at least not to the level that I had hoped. So as a captain or a leader on a team or in a meeting, As you go throughout your life, you have to realize there are people who won't always fall in line with your vision. You do the best you can, but you stand by your principles of leadership and realize that that will be your North Star. I'm big on providing a sort of a leadership philosophy. Now, the good part is this is something that can evolve and maybe even change altogether over time. But think about what the most important part of your leadership is. For me, I've learned, at least right now, and I think pretty much throughout my life, I'm pretty comfortable in saying my leadership philosophy is built off of live your words. If you watch other videos of mine, I didn't always do this. But now I truly see the importance, probably because I didn't always do it. So I find that live your words is the most important part of leadership. You have to set the example for what you want others to be. That's my simple philosophy. I've honed it in. It used to be longer, it was bigger, but those are the words that I came down to. I was watching a video on Pete Carroll, the great coach of USC and then of the Seattle Seahawks. He boiled his down to always competing. His leadership philosophy was always built around competition. The biggest part of this is why you want to develop that leadership philosophy is it is that North Star. It's what you always point to, what you always go back to, and what you can rely on when some of your other principles may be challenged or you're sort of doubting your own message because you're not reaching everyone. What are those one or two things that above all else are the most important things to you that you will not bend on? That is where you have to stand the ground of, I'm going to lead with this as my North Star. And as far as other principles and other parts of leadership that may be challenged or even met with some opposition, you work through those. You might find that other people are right. You might find that you believe in even stronger in your own opinion. And that's valuable either way because you've learned because of you've been challenged. And that's why it's not always yes people, but sometimes those people who are more difficult can teach you great lessons too, even if you don't completely connect with them. Now, as a coach, I offer my one-to-one leadership. I have a link down here in the description. I can help you if you need to work on that leadership philosophy because that's part of my program. I do believe in it is not set for life, but it is something you want to develop now. As you're young, whatever you're doing, you need to have that North Star to build your leadership principles on. In time, you will find what works best for you, and it may change altogether, or you may tweak it to different levels. But if I can help you, check out that link in the description, book your first session with me. Otherwise, I encourage you to go on and check out this video where I talk about that leadership philosophy of mine, simply living in your words. So go check that video out. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.